Hello, and welcome to this AI-enhanced workflow tutorial, specifically for 2D animation. In this tutorial, we are going to be using a plugin, an After Effects plugin. It's called Depth Scanner, and it's made by Blaze Plugins. And if you just Google Depth Scanner AE plugin, it'll pull up this AE Scripts website, and you can just click on that. And in there, you will see the plugin itself. You'll see that it's priced at $100, which is, could be better, could be worse. But there's also a free version. Basically, with the free version of this, you get all the same capabilities as you do with the paid version, except it puts a watermark on your animation or on your content, whatever it may be. And for the purposes of just exploring and learning about these new tools, that's fine for us. The watermark isn't going to bother us today. It might not look the best, but it's not going to actually get in our way. So if you see this green button here that says try, you can click that and it will download the plugin for you, and then you can go through the proper steps to install it in After Effects and get everything up and running. I am going to be using the After Effects 2024 version of this. There is now a 2025 version, but I have 2024 installed, so that's what I'm going to be using today. So 2025 hopefully works just fine, but if there are bugs or anything, I don't know about them yet because I'm still using the previous version. So once you get your Depth Scanner plugin downloaded and installed, then we can get started. And with just a quick look into the future here, we'll take a look at what we're going to actually do. So we're going to look at two techniques today. They're both very useful and useful in lots of different ways, right? So for instance, I am a theatrical projection designer, and I work in 2D and 2.5D animation all the time. And these are two techniques, especially one of them, that I find myself using a lot, and I find myself using in a ton of really, really different projects. So they're very versatile. This first one that we're looking at here is definitely more on the new side of things, I think, because it's very reliant upon effects and things like that, but it's still simple and useful. So what this is we're going to take a 2D image and get it to rotate as if there's actually some depth to it, right? So notice how this isn't just an image scrolling across the screen. It's actually giving us a sense of depth as our camera position and angle rotates around our subject here. So this subject is something that I drew, and I just imported it into After Effects. So feel free to use whatever art you may have or whatever art hints at where your interests lie. So this is one technique we're going to look at. And what this is it's using Depth Scanner to create a depth map of this image here, and then using a displacement map to pull information from that depth map in order to actually let us rotate this 2D scene. The second thing we're going to learn today is segmentation, and basically just how this plugin can help speed that process up. So what segmentation is finding an image that has a prominent foreground, midground, and background, and basically dissecting it, pulling the parts you want to use, getting rid of the parts you don't, replacing those with something that you like, that kind of thing. And it allows you to do cool effects like a parallax, where you can basically scroll the foreground, midground, and background against one another and give again a sense of depth and camera movement to a scene. Let me take a moment to interject here because looking back on these videos, I realized that I've been using this word parallax over and over again, and what we're doing here is not actually a true parallax. So what we're doing here is actually trying to simulate camera rotation, which is why the foreground and the background are moving against one another. A true parallax, though, would have the foreground, midground, and background all moving in the same direction, but at different rates of speed. So the foreground would be moving the quickest, background would be moving the slowest. So just a technicality, but I wanted to make sure to address that since I was using the wrong term. So with that being said, let's get back to the video. So this is making use of 4 different images here, one of which is just an overlay, the other is our foreground, and then we have our background and our subject once again. These images, everything except for our main subject, everything I'm going to be using today is going to come from Adobe Firefly. So feel free to follow along with that. I'll show you some prompts that I'm using, and you can try and put in something similar. But really, as long as you have that foreground, middle ground, background being prominent in your image, it's not going to matter what you're using. You're still going to have an easy time of following along with this. So with all that being said, the first thing we're going to look at is this process of segmentation. And for this technique, it is it's tough to really understand how much this plugin is really speeding things up for us without first taking a look at the way we would do it without the plugin, right? So we're going to start there. So with that being said, I will pop open Photoshop. I'll be working in Photoshop 2025, and we can get started.